Hey everyone, welcome back to Cartel Files. My name is Adrian, and my job is to simplify laser design for you so you can start building your next project quicker. I'm here with my trusty Design Chooser 9000 tool. Basically what this is, it's a huge list of different design ideas that I've come up with, and we'll randomly choose one, and that's what we're going to be designing today. If you have an idea that you want to add to this list, please let me know by commenting down below. And while you're there, please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel, and it also makes sure that we can keep producing free content for you guys. All right, so without further ado, let's click here and see what we are designing today. Ta-da! Okay, grocery list. Cool. I was actually waiting until this would come up. The reason why I chose this is while I was doing a little bit of research for the things that I want to add to this list, grocery list seemed like a good idea, but I couldn't find anything that was laserable or, a laser design. The closest thing I found, if we Google grocery list laser, is this file. And I think this is a really cool file. So if you prefer this, go ahead and find it and download it yourself. But basically what it is it's a plywood laser engraved and cut piece with a whiteboard insert. And I think that has a magnet on the back, so you can stick this up on your fridge and you can write down all the different ingredients and stuff that you need. But I want to do something a little bit different. I really like the grocery list, like a list of different items that I need to get from the shops, and I can tick each one off individually. But I do like this design, so maybe we'll do something that kind of works both ways. But what I'll do is I'll do some Googling and I'll try and find what I'm thinking or what I'm visualizing, and I'll get back to you in a second and we can start designing that thing. All right, so this is kind of what I was looking for. You can see it has a list of all the different ingredients that we need to go and grab from the shops. By the way, this is designed by a company called Cookie Rookie. Their website is thecookierookie.com, so that's where I found this image. And I really like the layout. It's got like a banner at the top, it's got like different headings, and then each of the different ingredients that we need to get from the shops. So I'm going to copy this image and head over to Corel Draw and paste it here. The next thing I'm going to do is just resize. Well, first of all, I'm going to get out of the way. Secondly, I'm going to resize the image so that it's roughly the same size as our page size. Okay, and that just help keep things within proportion. Okay, and I think what we'll do is we'll first start at the top. So you can see he's got a, I guess like a banner area at the top with some text and some images. So what I'll do is I'll grab the rectangle tool, snap it to the corner at the top here, and pull out a rectangle that's the width of the page. And I want to just resize this to roughly the same size as this banner that you see on the image, the reference image. Okay, so to keep that sort of proportions correct, you can see it's roughly 210 millimeters by 50 millimeters. I'm just going to type in 50 and just make that a nice round number and re-snap that up to the top there. Then what I want to do is I want to create two text objects. The first one's going to be Albanese household. If you don't know, that's my last name. And then a second text field, and we're going to write grocery list. Cool. Now you can go ahead and play around with fonts. We're just going to keep it nice and simple. I'm just going to make the grocery list a little bit larger than the top text. Okay, so maybe something like that. And I'm also going to keep the grocery list bold. All right, cool. Actually, I might make this a tiny bit larger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and center these texts to each other. So first thing I want to do is click on the top text, hold down Shift, and then click on the bottom text object. If I press the letter C on my keyboard, it'll snap those so that they're in line horizontally. And then I want to press Control and G, or you can just right-hand click and press Group. And what that does is now those two objects are basically grouped together, and I can click that group, hold down Shift, and press and click on the box, the top banner box, and then do the same. Press C to center it horizontally, and then E to center it vertically. So now I know that this text is perfectly centered to that top box. All right, and then we can come in and we can do, we can add all these little designs and stuff later, but right now, let's just continue on. Now, what I like about this is, you've got your different headings here. So fresh produce, baking goods, condiments, etc. And then underneath, you've got a list of all the different, the different ingredients that we can buy from the shop. So obviously, when you run out of something, you can tick off one of these ingredients in order to remember that you've got to replenish them. So what I'm thinking is either we have like a little pin, right, like a round pin that fits into a hole that we cut in the base, baseboard, or what we could do potentially is have a strip, just like we saw in that first photo that we saw, a strip of whiteboard material, and we can tick off each ingredient that we need to buy, right? But let's start off with the pin. So the idea of the pin is, I'm thinking we create a circle, okay? And I think the circle should be probably about 8 millimeters in diameter. And then the pin will have a backing piece, which will just be another smaller circle. So let's say maybe 5 millimeters, right, in diameter. So if you think of it, let's say it's a 3 millimeter piece of acrylic or wood that we're designing this with. You would have a 3 millimeter thick by 8 millimeter wide circle. Okay, and that's where you can have either the cross or the tick symbol. And then you would have another piece glued to the back of that, which is your 5 millimeter diameter, that smaller circle that we made, right? So then that can go into a hole that's on the baseboard. Okay, hopefully that made some sense. And then what we would do in our grocery list, panel that we're laser engraving and cutting, we will just have a whole bunch of holes next to each of the words or each of the ingredients that we want. And when we need to replenish that, we push the pin into there, and then that just reminds us that we need to buy that ingredient. Hey guys, Future Adrian here, just pausing the video to give a little bit more clarity on what the pin looks like and how it will work. So this is what you'll see from the top side. It's basically an 8 millimeter round circle with an X engraved into it. And then what I want you guys to do is then create a 5 millimeter circle and glue that to the base of the 8 millimeter circle. Does that make sense? So now that you've done that, you can push that pin into the base plate of the grocery list and indicate that item needs to be purchased from the store. So it's an 8 millimeter circle with a 5 millimeter circle glued to the center of the back of it. And you can then engrave it with whatever you want, a tick, an X, something else. Hope that clears it up, and now let's get back to the video. So that's what the pin will look like. Just to give you a sort of idea, I am thinking maybe we put the letter X on there, like that, and then you can put that pin next to each of the items that we want to buy. So let's just get rid of that, and we'll store it off to the side, and yeah, we'll continue on designing the rest of the grocery list. So now let's in all capitals, let's start typing out some of our headings. So we got fresh produce, we've got grains, meat / protein, we've got dairy, baking goods, freezer, canned / dried goods, we've got condiments and spices, we've got oils and vinegars, and we've got snacks. Cool, I think that's it. Yeah, so these are all of our headings. Now, just having a look at how big that text is, I think we need to, first of all, grab all of these different headings and reduce the size of them down to maybe, let's start off with maybe 18, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, I'm going to move all of these headings that we don't need right now out of the way, just so I can show you sort of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to bold that heading, and then we got to start typing out all of these different ingredients, right? But what I want to do is make sure that each of the ingredient is spaced away from each other, so that, you know, the pin that we're going to place next to it has enough room so it doesn't clash with the next line. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create that circle. So we sort of agreed that a 5mm pin will fit inside of the baseboard. So I'm going to make a 5mm hole. Okay, whoops. And I'm going to move that a little bit closer to there. And then my text object will be right next to it. And I believe the first option is apples. Correct. All right, so the apples, this is a bit large, so maybe I want to drop it down to, let's say 16 point in size. Our heading is 18, so 16 makes sense for the text. And then the next thing I want to do is just align these two. So I want to press E, and that'll bring the word in line vertically with that hole. And then what we can do is we can now move the apple closer. Okay, and I probably want the apple and the fresh produce, those two words, to be in line with each other. So if I press the letter L, that lines up the edge of the words. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now what I want to do is, remember we've got the top of the pin is going to be 8mm in size, right? So if I now put a pin in here, you can see that the pin overlays the inner circle, and we just want to make sure that when we duplicate this this word down, the pin will have enough room so that it doesn't overlap the previous pin. So we can have two items that are right next to each other, selected with the pin. Hopefully that made sense. You'll see in a second. So we know that the pin is going to be 8mm in diameter. So what I want to do is I want to come up here to the duplicate distance, okay? And your one will be whatever it's set to. I just want to make sure that the x-axis, so that's horizontally, is set to 0mm. And the Y distance, duplicate distance, is greater than the size of the pin that we're going to place in there. So we know it's 8mm, so let's go to maybe 9mm, and that'll give us a gap of 1mm, so that both pins can fit there. So because we're going down the page, it's going to be a negative number, so -9mm. All right. And to now duplicate this text, what I do is I select the text and press Control D. And you can see that's created a duplicate and it's moved it down 9mm. Now if we grab that pin again, okay, and we set one to here and set the other to this point, you can see there's a gap here, so the two pins won't overlap or hit each other. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fast forward through this, and I'm going to create each of the headings, basically just copy what you see in the reference photo here. and I'll duplicate all my products down, and we'll pick up from there. All right, so I finished putting in all the different elements. And I think at the bottom here, what I want to do is I want to have some holes in there, either so you can write in your own options, and also those holes can hold the pins that we need to place on the grocery list when we've run out of one of those items. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these circles here. I'm going to copy them down. Actually, what I'll do is maybe I'll make another section over here, and we can just call this other. All right, and we'll just have some blank spots like that. And we can duplicate these down as well. And that's where our pins can go. And I think that looks fine. We can play around with it and fix up all the spacing and stuff later. But that's the general idea. I now want to make an outline on the full size of the grocery list. Put in a bit of a edge round, so I'm coming up here. So once I've selected the outline, I'm changing the corner radius in this section here to maybe 5 mil, maybe 6 mil. Okay, just to give it a bit of a curve. And this bottom line that separates the top section and the bottom section, I want to keep that, but I want to make that a line that goes maybe 90% the way across, just to help separate those two areas. So I'll make that a black line, and I'll give it a thickness. I'm coming up here while that line is selected, and I want it to be maybe 1 millimeter thick. Okay, that's cool. I can remove that top box now, and if I wanted to, I can go in and put in all these images. So I think I will do that. What I want to do is just use my crop tool and crop the image down to this size, just so we're not, trying to vectorize the whole image, because I just want these images that we've got here. And did I cut off that strawberry? No, it was already cut off. Maybe I can do it a little bit better. How's that? There we go. All right, we've cropped that now. We want to click on our image, and at the top here, there's an option called Trace Bitmap. Click that, go down and choose the option Detailed Logo. All right, that brings up this page here. Now you can see that there's quite a bit of detail missing. So I'm just going to use my detail slider over here and increase that until I've got all the all the details that I need. So you can see that the apple is struggling here for some reason, and probably because it's finding that there's way too many colors in the image. So if I click on my color option here, let me just zoom in, sorry. If I click on my color option, this tab here, I can change this to 2. And what that will do is it'll look through the image, and it'll just categorize it in 2 different colors. That way now it should have a bit of a better time trying to figure out what's going on with that apple. There you go. I want to remove color from the entire image and hit OK. Now I can get rid of everything that we don't need, right? So I'm going to right hand click, ungroup all. You can see that there's this little thing at the top here that I need to delete. all of this text that I need to delete. Okay, and now I'm just left with these nice images here of the different ingredients, you could say. All right, so I want to grab all of these and just move them over a little bit, something like that. And maybe just grab this strawberry, move it over a little bit and move it to the top, like that. And we want to delete this little triangle, we don't need that. I'll group that together, and I can see that we just have that now there. And there we go. And now that I've seen this, I kind of want to move this a little bit further down, the text. And there you go. There is your grocery list made. We can now engrave this all out, cut them all out. And then just to make the pin that will go into each of those holes, you would first cut out this 8mm diameter circle. Obviously engrave it first with the X, and then you would glue onto the back of it a 5mm circle, and that would fit inside of the hole that we're cutting into this baseboard here. Alternatively, as I said in the beginning, if you don't like the pin idea, then what I would recommend is, instead of having all those individual circles on the baseboard, have a cutout that you can insert a whiteboard type material that you can then tick off, or alternatively just use a pencil and you can cross off which ones you need, and then you can rub it back off. But I think I like the pin idea. Please give it a go. Tell me if you like it or if you would change something about this design. And if you come up with a better design, please leave a link of it down below. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. You can also email me at hello@cartelfiles.com. Send me a photo of the design that you've come up with, and I may add it to the end of another video just to help inspire other people to keep creating and making more cool laser designs. So, as always, please give this video a thumbs up and press subscribe. It really helps out the channel, keeps us growing, and keeps us making more content for you and helping the laser community become bigger and better. Thank you.